Welcome back to the Harbor Podcast. I'm the
It sounded
Kino
like you said
Cowboy.
horrible. It sounded like you said horrible podcast.
The
Which
horrible podcast.
it's not off base to call it the horrible harbor.
I'm the Kino Cowboy. I'm with old Boston Flasher. Oh shit. I guess Scott couldn't be here. Here's the problem with Scott. He decided that since he's a stand-up artist last night, he decided he needed to outdo Cosmo Kramer. So he decided to say the N-word in 27 different languages. But here's the thing. The N-word is the same word in 27 different languages. So he just sat on stage and said the N-word. So he's been canceled. We can't have him on the show anymore.
Jesus, I
So
wish that
yeah.
was an actual bit. I wish that were fucking real, man. That'd be fucking
It
hilarious.
is real. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Warriors today. A classic. What is it? 1979.
1979 cult classic.
Yeah.
Bringing it back today.
I hadn't watched this movie in like 10 years. So it was nice to revisit it.
Lots of Macho Man bullshit in it, but it's got that Macho Man charm, man. Like when he says the gay slur in it, it's not quite as hurtful.
They say that word like 3 or 4 times.
it's more charming, I guess.
My girlfriend looked up from her Switch and I was like, yeah, it's a different time.
That's the shit we're watching. Product of its time. Fucking one of my favorite movies of all time. Absolutely one of my like go-tos. It's a comfort movie, surprisingly, as fucked up as the movie is. It's a comfort movie of mine. Movie I used to watch with my dad in the garage on Spike TV, where it was edited, and we would sit there and my dad would quote that whole fucking movie to me. It's a very special, kind movie to my heart. Directed by Walter Hill, 1979. Basically, it's about a gang of people that are in some kind of like dystopia New York. And there's a bunch of different gangs, and this one, Cyrus, is like the messiah of these gangsters and wants to unite all of the gangs in New York because they outnumber the motherfucking pigs. And during that little meeting, some shit goes down, and the Warriors have to make it back to Coney Island as wanted men. And it is quite possibly one of the best fucking action movies of all time.
And in this reality, all the gangs of New York have their own special outfits that they have to wear.
It's my favorite shit, man. You've got the Warriors who are just kind of like, they got their vests and they kind of go with a little bit more like a Zen style. Cyrus's gang is all like Black Panther, Kung Fu artists. You've got a gang called the Furies, which all put on like baseball outfits and paint their faces different colors like teams and carry baseball bats and don't talk, and they're super fucking scary. It's so uniquely fucking 70s that it's hard not to love it.
It is uniquely 70s. Here's the cool thing about it is that a lot of, I'm not saying it's a low budget picture. It's not, it's got a little bit of money. But I'm saying those kinds of films back in the 70s, usually with those kinds of films, it would look really grainy, kind of like low budget, cheap looking. This is very crisp, very good picture quality. That's what I immediately noticed. I was like, damn,
dude. And it's got great. Like a lot of really talented fucking actors and actresses in it. And like we've got Michael Beck as Swan, James Remar, who everybody will recognize, but they won't know his fucking name is in it. We've got just quite a few like really banger fucking actors. But the thing is, with the banging acting, the writing is like so cheesy at times that it's so fucking charming that you can't put it down.
Right. Yeah.
I love it. And then like the world building in it, like all these different gangs have like different shit and different lore attached to it, which like if you're seeking more after you watch this movie, there's a few different things that you can seek it from. There's a book. If you've got a PlayStation 2 or a way to emulate it, there's a game by Rockstar that they made. Like this shit was it's incredible.
Well,
world building is in it.
Is it just like its own little made up story reality, or is it supposed to be in the future a little bit, or no?
In the game?
No, just in general.
It's like a dystopic. It's like an alternate universe reality. Yeah. It's set in the same time period.
Okay.
But it's like a dystopic New York in the 70s, basically.
Yeah.
Which is cool to me.
I loved how it looked. Looks great.
Fucking greasy ass gangsters everywhere. You've got like, there's a gang called I think it's like the Turnbulls, Turnbull ACs. They drive around in a giant school bus all souped out with like weapons and fuck everybody up. It's pretty awesome, man. And then like on top of
It,
that, you've got like the synth soundtrack going throughout the entire
the immediate way to make it not feel low budget is the first big scene where they all meet up for Cyrus's,
yeah, there's like
and there's like
hundreds of like
hundreds of
people there.
people in it, all dressed up in their different outfits. That's a great scene because for a second you're like, oh shit, this is gonna be about like all these gangs coming together to fight the cops. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
this is gonna be badass. Like, whoa. And then one of the dudes just shoots him dead and it's not for really any reason
yeah,
other than
because
to
I
fuck shit
wanted
up.
to. He's
Yeah,
literal point. He goes, because I wanted to.
which is crazy and
Just a
also,
bastard.
you know, poignant in ways.
You got Cyrus up on stage. Can you dig it? Sitting there giving this epic monologue of speech about how they outnumber the cops and how they can bop their way through anything and control New York. And then all of a sudden, shot dead, just in the middle of that. And then the guy who shoots him points at the Warriors and was like, "They did it, the Warriors."
And so the Warriors are blamed and they have to get back to their base, Coney Islands, through the night, which I love movies where it's like, okay, we have to get from point A to point B. Can we do it? I love that shit.
And it's like on the way there, they're always going through different people's like territories because New York and all the boroughs are like separated into gang territory. And they were like, at first they were like, let's make it on the train, but people are starting to fuck with the trains and all this
Well, I
stuff.
want to talk about right as the cops come to the meeting at the beginning. They they break down a fence to escape, and it reminded me of this time at Mist. If people listening, was a shitty hookah lounge we used to hang out at a long time ago when we were like freshmen in college, and we would, you know, party, drink, smoke weed, stuff like that, stuff you're not supposed to be doing. We would close up the hookah shop because our friend owned it, and then we would party. Well, one time, because there's a back, people that don't know, there's a back area patio with like a big fence that surrounds it. And this guy ran in and said, the cops are here, the cops are here. So we're all fucked up, like, oh shit. And we have to go. And there's this big fence. We don't want to go back in because we think the cops are inside. So everyone's trying to climb over and they can't get through. So Castro just starts kicking it down. And I'm like, I climb over it while this is happening, and I'm like drunk, and I fall over the other side, and my glasses break in half, and I just have to leave them and run. And I had to come back the next day and pick them up and tape them up because I was poor.
You gotta do what you gotta fucking do, dude. I'm not about
But
to
it
get,
was like,
not about to get fucked up by no cops. I ain't
you're like,
climbing
fuck
up
it. So you
man.
started kicking it down. I was like, damn, just like the Warriors.
You gotta do what you gotta do, man. That whole situation was fucking wild. It is similar, I guess. If we were all gangsters, it'd be much more.
Yeah, we were all gangsters,
painted
not
up,
fucking losers.
fucking flash our colors. But like, it's truly one of the most iconic scenes of the whole movie is Cyrus getting shot, and then they blame the shooting on the Warriors. And New York's fucking huge. Like the city itself is pretty fucking massive, and having to traverse from one area of the city, which I can't remember where they were at, all the way back to Coney
To me,
Island.
I feel like they all met up somewhere outside of New Jersey and then headed back into the city.
So I'm looking it up right now. It's in a place called Van Cortlandt Park, which is a borough of the Bronx.
Oh, okay. I
So
thought they
it's
were
in the
further out
Bronx.
than that.
Let me look up.
It's hard
Let's
for
see
me to
how
tell because
far.
I've never been to New York, so it's hard for me to tell. Because like people criticize Spider-Man because they're like, oh, he's supposed to be a friendly neighborhood and he's from Queens, but he's always in Manhattan. I'm like, well, where? I get confused where these
Yeah, dude, in
placements
New
are.
York, the boroughs and shit are fucking massive.
Yeah.
Looking it up just now from the Bronx, which I don't know where Van Cortlandt Park is in the Bronx, but from the Bronx to Coney Island, it's fucking 27 miles. And they have to make 27 miles overnight on foot.
Yeah.
While being chased by every fucking gang in the city because they have a radio broadcast, which is one of my favorite parts. They have a radio broadcast going on throughout
Yeah.
the entire movie where they announce like a bounty hunter hit on them, and she starts
Yeah.
playing
Here's
like
the thing.
groovy music.
I love DJs in movies. Another iconic one is from American Graffiti.
Yeah.
And I love when it's not just like one radio broadcast, it's like it keeps coming
Mhm.
because it makes you feel even more connected to the city and the world you're in. It makes you feel like
Absolutely.
you're part of the community, and it adds scale. And the fact that she's calling out like shit about them, it makes me wonder if that's actually happening in reality or if it's just like a narration for the viewer.
Dude, I have a feeling that that's a real thing because that's like the main way that most of these people found out about the Warriors. Like, if you remember in the movie, they have to pass through a lesser neighborhood where the orphans are.
Yeah.
Um, Orphans didn't know anything about that warrior situation until someone brought up the radio broadcast.
Oh, okay.
And then they started fucking around, which they weren't even going to fuck around until they started being called a pussy by the girl that was with them, that the
Yeah.
Warriors ended up like copping and, you know, making their own bitch. Like they were all about like, I think it's truly a part of the universe just because of that. And what dumbfounds me on that is like, how the fuck are they able to broadcast that? I guess, but it's also the 70s. So like
Underground radio. I don't know. They probably have a secret station they listen to.
it's cool as shit though, because it's like this African American lady who's like, she's got this sultry ass voice and it's real like nice and soothing, but she's like full on being like, go fuck these people up while they bop their way back.
Yeah, you
That's the other
never
thing.
see her fully.
They always say, instead of fight, they always say bop, and I like that a lot too.
Yeah.
I don't know, that adds to the aesthetic. But like,
Yeah.
the
Good
aesthetic
needle
of
drops in the movie, literal needle drops, you know.
great music, dude. That fucking soundtrack's killer. It's a bunch of synth and like pop rock and all that fun stuff.
I forgot.
Uh,
I get so used to modern day cinema, like everything today is like quick cuts, boom, here's the shot,
mhm.
here's the shot. I was just like fascinated. I was watching this movie and it's just a full shot of them from one side of the street just walking all the way past the camera, and it doesn't stop for like 15 seconds. It's just a shot of them walking and it goes
I like
on. And
that.
I'm like, man, by today's standards, this would go on too long, but this is a different standard. This is golden age 70s Hollywood. And I like that it just lets you watch that and not do a bunch of different cuts.
Yeah, it adds a lot to just like the whole feeling of the movie. That it kind of adds to the fact that it's going to be a fucking long night for the Warriors.
Right.
They're about to have one of the worst fucking times. But after they run through with the after Cyrus is killed and the main like leader, the war chief is what they call him, gets like stomped the fuck out, and you kind of never know what happens to him. It's assumed that he's killed by him.
Yeah.
Because the next and they fight over who becomes the next in line, next war chief, kind of.
Yeah.
They have like arguments because there's a guy named Ajax who is like macho man, like let's go fucking find some chicks while we're on the way there.
Rape and murder.
Yeah, he's a fucked up individual. These are not good people, by the way.
Right.
Like, you root for them, kind of, like, just because some of them are good, like, but there's a couple of them that are real slime ball motherfuckers.
Right.
But it's a gang. It's like, they're criminals. Not someone that with as much drama as we're getting over licorice pizza and shit nowadays, I don't think this movie, many people would like it very much, just because we were rooting for fucking ruthless motherfuckers the entire time.
Yeah, dude. It's fucking urban. It's 70s. It's grimy. That's why
Yeah.
you want to watch it, dude.
You've got fucking
Okay.
like whole gangs of women seducing men, and then
Yeah, dude.
they get the shit beat out of them by the
Fucking
Warriors.
Lizzies. And I was like watching, I was like, there's no way this group of fucking women aren't a bunch of lesbians. And then I saw those two girls dancing together. I was like, oh, okay, I'm glad they included that.
Yeah, man.
Because like, there's
all
no
open
way.
shit, dude. It's funny because like I also, when I first watched this, I'd never expected to see a woman get the shit beat out of them by a gang member.
Yeah, well, I mean, shit, you're trying to kill them. You gotta fucking
Yeah.
fight. That's the best excuse. Not
Yeah,
that there should be, you know what I mean.
Yeah, we don't
Well,
need to
here's the
beat
thing.
women at anyway.
It's like the first 30 minutes of this movie, they're having a run, and it's like they don't get a chance to, because they keep talking about how tough they are. Let's fight these motherfuckers, et cetera, et cetera. And then finally, when they do get to fight, it's badass. It's a great action
Yeah,
scene.
like I think one of my favorite parts of the whole movie is they're running through that fucking Central Park, and I think it's Ajax who says "fuck this" and turns around and starts fighting the Furies, which again are like the most intimidating gang that they have to go through. I think, in my opinion, because they just carry baseball bats and are silent.
Yeah.
Turn
It's
around, and start.
genuinely a great action scene, having to dodge all the bats and then
Yeah,
grab
it's like
them.
they got to bop when they got to fucking bop, and they
Right.
prove
And then they
themselves
get the
that way.
baseball. Yeah, I love that. And then
Mhm.
yeah, great action scenes
Little,
in this movie. Like there's another one where they're in the bathroom stalls and they jump out at them.
yeah, holy shit, that's a good one too.
And
And
then
like
of
half of
course,
them are on fucking roller
yeah.
skates. That was the
Yeah.
they wear roller skates and fucking what's it called? Overalls, and that's their outfit.
The
Like
fight
this is
with the
wacky
lizards.
shit.
Yeah, it's fun. It's hard to take too serious. It is a serious movie, but it's fun still.
It's campy as fuck. Like there's a lot of lines in the movie that are very like, cheesy. Like there's this scene where they're finally on the train for the first time and it cuts to all of them and they're all just like giving, oh man, this night's about to be crazy. And then like you've got the black dude dressed in like Native American garbs. He's like, yeah, we about to bop our way all the way back. Like really fucking like
Yeah,
stereotypical
yeah.
shit. It's super fucking funny.
Good use
One of
of
the things that
props.
I think it's important to know is that the Warriors also they're not a big gang. Like they're not like this top notch gang, but they have their territory and they fucking like keep to it and they keep control over it. So like a lot of the times the people are like, who the fuck are the Warriors? And they have to like again prove themselves all the way back to fucking Coney Island.
Which
All the
is
while you
badass.
got fucking the dude who shot Cyrus instigating shit the entire time just to give the Warriors a hard time.
Yeah.
Like throughout the entire movie, you get like backdrops into his character, and he's always like calling in, seeing he saw the Warriors here, or blah blah blah, and like trying his damnedest to get every single member fucking murked. Which there's no fucking point to it. He even says it at the end when they finally have their confrontation. He's just like, because I wanted to do it. Just what a bastard. I fucking love him.
There's yeah. There's good use of props in this movie. Like we said, the baseball bats, but also, good shit like switchblades. Always love a
Oh
good
yeah,
switchblade.
love a good switchblade. Fucking chains, people carrying
I
around
always
chains.
wanted a switchblade as a kid. And I finally, when I was 18, I was like, you know what? I want a switchblade for the novelty of it. So I got some shitty gas station switchblade.
You guys,
And
you
then,
remember the switchblade combs you could get?
oh yeah,
Everybody thought those were the
I know,
coolest.
but like I had that man that switchblade, and then my grandma found it and took it away. Even though I was a grown man, not a grown man. I
We
was
need
not a grown man at 18.
we need
But
we need switchblades, Grandma. Got to
she
protect
did
us.
that thing. She would do that thing where like she wouldn't confront you about it. It would just disappear.
Man, that would piss me
It
off.
would never happen. Never see it
Ugh,
again.
that would piss me off.
Here's the
Be
thing.
searching for it.
The worst example of that, man, I hope my mom's not listening. Whatever.
Shout out to Lisa Clark.
When I was when I was living with them, for folks who know the morning line, before I started the morning line, before the cul-de-sac shit started, I was living with my grandparents, peak depressed, without a job, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Um, and when I was living with them, I would live upstairs. They didn't go upstairs that much because they're older. And I would have a little bong in there, and I would go out the window halfway on their roof and smoke it. And I did that for like months, no problem. Tiny little baby bong, nice little $30 baby bong. I remember how much it was. And then one day I went upstairs and it just wasn't in my hiding spot anymore. And I had like my blood went like cold. I was like, oh shit, it's gone. And so I immediately called up Cody Long and I was like, you gotta come pick me up. Let's get out of here. So I went. This is back when our friend Dimitri was at the cul-de-sac, and before I started living there, I just stayed there all day. And then my grandma never confronted me over it, so I just went back, acted like nothing happened.
On brand for your entire family,
And it was
non-conflict.
just like
Hey,
non-confrontational. Oh shit,
look who it
we got a
is.
boy, Dark
Oh my
Scott.
God, Jesus, put on a light. It looks like you're about to
Speak
get
for
ready to
yourself,
jerk off.
Casher, dude. You're in the fucking dark.
Honestly, my light's pretty good today. Scott's looks like he's about to jerk off for people on Omegle.
Yeah.
Oh shit. It's kind of spooky, kind of sexy, kind of ambiguous. Pull out your wiener. Let's see how the lighting is on that.
First of all, it's already out. Second of all,
Sick.
I'm staying like this.
Hell yeah. That's a good aesthetic. Scott, we were talking about the Warriors today.
The Warriors.
Good old Warriors come out to play.
I can opine on this a lot, or not a lot, a little.
Okay.
Great movie. That's all we're saying. We're done. It's a great movie. End of podcast.
Okay. I've been with the COVID, so
yeah, man.
my brain has been weird.
Foggy. I feel that, dude. I had COVID too.
My landlord, I think, just didn't mention that he had it. Like, forgot, not out of malice. But then in recompense, he bought me Papa John's. So, you win something, you lose something.
It's Spanish Papa John's better than the good old American Papa
Yeah,
John's.
it's pretty similar. They have different stuff, though. You can get goat cheese on your pizza and stuff.
Sick. Sign me up.
God, this is the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Your teeth look really nice, though.
Yeah. Bright teeth. Look at you.
That's cool. I haven't been brushing them as much as I should be because I've been confined.
Because you've been confined, you can't brush them as much.
That's my excuse. It's really just because I'm.
That's fair, dude. Whatever excuse for gingivitis, that's cool. It's like that. Have you ever seen that meme of like the black dude who's like in all darkness and then he opens up his
Dude,
eye?
now you're making me feel racist because you're making me feel like I'm in blackface.
This ties into the beginning of the podcast.
What is it weird that in the Warriors, or is it true to life that they just have like a black gang?
I think that's true to life, especially around the time when we had the Black Panthers very prominent in that area.
Are you calling the Black Panthers a gang and not a civil rights organization?
No, they literally, the guy who wrote this, I'm pretty sure took inspiration for Cyrus's gang from the organization of the Black Panthers because of how they're organized a lot of the time.
Are some of them wearing berets, or am I just misremembering that?
I think there are. I'm pretty sure there are. They're all wearing fucking kimonos, which is my favorite part, and like gis.
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah, because this is your post Bruce Lee Asian fusion Kung Fury obsession.
It's like a lot of those like black militant groups back in the 70s, like all organized under certain like clothing and shit like that. And I guess that's true to form. Especially because they're in the Bronx. That's where Cyrus's gang is from. And I like the organization there, man. They got the snazziest gear. And they know Kung Fu, dude. It's so funny because it's like cheesy Kung Fu. Like the guy stops and then does his roundhouse kick to the dude at the end.
Yeah.
It's so fucking funny.
Yeah, it's kind of Kung Fu. That's the only kind of Kung Fu you can really learn at a strip mall in the 70s.
It is strip mall Kung Fu.
It's very like, okay, I got to show you this move. Hold on. Can you move your foot 6 inches forward so I can be in the right stance?
It reminds me of like all the like little fucking kids at the library that wanted to learn anime moves became a gang.
Bow to your sensei.
Is that a thing? I practiced my when I worked at the library. I just practiced my Kung Fu on those kids. I was like, "Get out of here, weeb!"
Those kids would beat the shit out of you. There's no fucking.
All those kids were way more hardcore than me.
Shout out to James Walker. James Walker would kick the shit out of anybody.
Now, was he a library kid? James Walker would.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, he definitely.
That's how I met him and Akeem back when we were like.
Dude, how's James Walker doing? I haven't heard about that.
I don't fucking know.
I don't know. I like that
not a James Walker cast.
Yeah, dude. How's that guy I rode the bus with in middle school?
I'm sure everyone on this cast knows this guy.
He's a nice guy.
Oh, because the mooring line has no history of dropping random cameos that nobody knows.
Where's Keith?
Well, there's at least context, but what's the name?
So they make it to that first train. The first train they get to, and they're like, "Oh, we're fucking home free." You got a sigh of relief. They were all talking about how they were really not looking forward to the night, and then as they're going, someone sets fire to the fucking train tracks to stop that train. So these motherfuckers have to get off and
fucking
fight.
Crazy, dude.
It's fucking gnarly.
Public transportation in America, man.
And I wish we had transportation like that in Arkansas. God damn.
One of the best jokes in Roger Rabbit is
the whole movie.
No, it's just like Bob Hoskins is like, why would anyone want to take it? We have the best transportation in America, you know.
In LA.
Yeah, in LA, yeah.
Well, the whole plot of Roger Rabbit is to stop
Yeah.
like the stupid freeways that make LA an unlivable hellscape. That keep it from truly being one of the. Can you imagine if LA had like, I mean, not to flex, but like just because it's what if LA had Madrid public transportation, it would be one of the greatest cities in the world easily. And it's just a big ass city with one of the greatest industries.
It'd be one of the greatest cities in the world if, you know, the homeless population didn't outnumber the fucking people living in
the homeless population. Maybe they would be better because they would be able to commute to work and get jobs, and you invest in the community.
That would, yeah, that's a good point.
Wouldn't
My
that
favorite part about the public
crazy
transportation and
thought?
Roger Rabbit, before we go back to the Warriors,
Dude, the Warriors is really just how hard it is to cross an American city.
it is, especially New York at night.
Exactly.
Dude, I accidentally took the wrong, I did kind of went to the wrong metro. Like, they have a tram called MARTA. I went to the wrong MARTA station in Atlanta once, and it was near the Greyhound station too. And I had people be like, "Hey, white boy, come here for a minute. Come here for a minute." I had to power walk. I mean, those are during the day. So I walked by some dudes. They didn't want their Airbnb host being like, "Wait, where'd my like white guy go?" Anyway, this is getting weird.
There was a show in Atlanta once at like their big, I don't know what the fuck the stadium's called, but it was like an electronic show. It was
Mercedes-Benz?
I think it's called that. I don't know.
That's where I was. I was around there.
It was the Bass Nectar had a show there, and they had Bass Nectar's team sent these maps that were like marked off where not to fucking walk.
I had a homeless guy tell me.
Like, hey,
he straight up told me, like, don't go to this street. Don't go here.
Oh shit.
You remember me and Scott one time simply just wanted to drive to In-N-Out while we were in Dallas, and it was a shit show.
Do it. I wanted to eat a greasy American burger, and I couldn't do it.
After like 30 minutes, it was the traffic was so fucking crazy, and like they kept changing roads and lanes. And
Dallas has some of the worst traffic in fucking the South. I think it's the worst traffic in the South.
Yeah, probably.
I fucking hate.
It's the worst I've seen.
What happened? American infrastructure. Fucking A, dude.
Dude, we're a very short-sighted nation. We're about next quarter, man.
In military budgets.
In military, but
we got the Warriors out of it, so you know.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing about American Decay. You get some badass movies in the 70s. You get Taxi Driver and the Warriors and stuff. So Vietnam wasn't completely pointless. I don't know.
This is kind of similar to Escape from New York. Two different concepts, but same kind of grime. From one point of New York to the next.
This is way more grounded.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I don't know. There's mimes with baseball bats.
It's still stylized.
Yeah,
it's very stylized. It's a comic book movie that's not a comic book.
Yeah, there's one thing though that bugs me about the movie, and it's one of the Warriors gets thrown into a moving train and dies, and it's never brought up. They never find out about it.
Yeah, they never fucking talk about it. It's one of my. I think his name is like Rat or some shit like that. He gets thrown in front of that train, which is fucking brutal because he's like fighting and he's like, get away, and it's like the chick that's with him. And they run off, and then like you think he's gonna survive, and then like the first time you watch it, you're just like, like holy shit, he just got hit by a fucking train.
Because there's not really anything that brutal in the rest of the movie.
No, absolutely not. Most of it's like it's not tame.
It's not tame.
It's like it's not as like no one really dies, you know?
But it's like they don't. It's weird that they're not like, well, where's this guy at? You know.
They do the same with pretty much any member that gets lost along the way. Like when Ajax goes to try to like, there's a random woman in Central Park at like 2 a.m. sitting on a bench, and Ajax decides to go get sexually aggressive with her. She turns out to be an undercover cop, and cops puts him on the fucking bench, cuffs him to it. And I think that's one of the funniest moments for me, just because he tries to break free so fucking hard. He's like trying to rip himself off that bench. And yeah, fuck Ajax. He's like trying to rip himself off the fucking bench. He's looking at the lady like, come on, you fucking bitch. Like, that's going to work.
Yeah, dude. Like, he tries to grab her fucking tits so hard. It looks like he was trying to like Kali Ma her, like rip her fucking heart out, dude.
Yo, real shit. Ajax talks about it throughout the movie that he's trying to fucking find some chicks throughout the entire thing, and you could definitely get like super rapey vibes off of him.
Oh yeah, fuck
which
him.
is a
He
good
didn't
thing. I
deserve
mean,
to
it's
be
not a good
made.
thing, but it's like he's the out of like the group of warriors, he's the one that you fucking dislike probably the most.
Yeah. Well, also I like
Big
that.
bitches.
Like he's arrested. Boom. You don't see him for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, no, he's done.
It's
He's
over
done.
for.
There's not much of a denouement to this movie. There's not much of a after the climax. It's kind of just wraps up real quick.
Yeah, it's absolutely it's
It literally
done.
cuts to credits.
It cuts it. Yeah, there is no denouement. It's
Yeah.
and then cut to credits because we have
If you
no
want-
more
if you
budget for
want-
film stock.
If you want more information surrounding it, the video game does it justice.
I actually am almost more interested in asking you about that because I never played it, and that is Rockstar
Yeah,
before
it's
they
fucking-
decided to release GTA 5 17 times.
It's the absolute shit, completely under the radar for most people. I got obsessed with this movie when I was like 12, 13, and when I found out the game came out, I fucking immediately went and bought it. Had my dad go out and get it. And you get more backstory on. So it starts off instead of starting off at the actual meeting, you start off playing as Rembrandt, who is the guy who tags everything with the big afro. And Rembrandt is being bopped in, and he has to fight his way into the gang, and then he gets his colors, and it starts off there and ends whenever you go back to the Coney Island, and you can start talking to people, being like, "Yeah, man, I can't believe Ajax got popped," or "Hey, man, I can't believe Rat got killed in this shit," and you get a little bit more backstory on it.
Huh.
Which is
So
cool.
it takes place after the movie?
It takes place. It's the beginning and the movie, and then you get a little bit at the end.
Really? Okay, so I thought it was entirely a prequel.
No, it's like a full thing. You have to bop your way all the way back to. You even get like
Oh.
the coolest thing is you get bosses for these gangs. So like you fight a baseball fury boss that's like he has a baseball bat and a fucking ball.
Yeah. And he was all roided up and his bat has coke, not coke,
Yeah,
cork
my
in it.
fucking favorite part is my favorite boss is the Turnbull ACs, the guys who are in the big school bus like Mad Max in it. Theirs is in a.
Oh, you just have to do a school exam, like a math exam?
Well, what happened? Fun. I think everybody would fail in the fucking Warriors. They don't seem
Just like,
smart.
oh,
Yeah.
I'm a 12-year-old cashier who wanted to play with the Warriors game.
The Turnbull AC's boss, like their gang leader, he's in a wheelchair, and like he's
Oh,
driving
that's
up the
ableist.
school bus. I don't know. He kicks your ass pretty hard.
No, I think he's pretty able then. I think most wheelchair people could kick my ass.
They probably couldn't kick it. Might be able to punch you.
They definitely could do that.
But we start getting into like the thick of it right after they get off that after they get their sigh of relief and they jump off and they realize that they aren't going to be able to take the easy way out and have to like completely bop their way home. And I just gotta say again, the music for this fucking movie is quintessential like synth rock from like the fucking 70s, and it adds like a whole new aesthetic to it. The movie is real dark in terms because it's all done at night, so everything has like this kind of glaring light to it too. Like anytime you see like a light that's there, it's very prominent in the area, but most of it's done in the dark, and I like that a lot.
The fucking orphans, dude. What's their story? They're so greasy and fucking.
They're the
sad.
fucking they're like an unofficial gang basically.
It's so
like,
lame, dude. The
they're-
main guy.
They're the nerdy kids who are like, hey, we see all these gangs, let's make our fucking own. And then you got the leader with a lazy eye.
The
who looks
leader
like
is
a
basically
shower.
Trevor from Trailer Park Boys. Like,
Yeah, truly. And like I love that he's like cool with them going through their territory. And then like the fucking chick that's there, I can't remember her name. She's just like, you gonna let them talk to you like that? And then immediately he's like, yo, you gotta take off all your colors if you're gonna walk through. And they're like, we ain't fucking doing that. Like, we're not taking off our colors to walk through. He's like, did you hear me, warriors? Like trying to get like real fucking like tough with them. And then they get their shit kicked out of them with a Molotov cocktail, which is awesome because that dude carries around a necklace with a Molotov cocktail.
Makes sense.
yeah.
I love
So
their
dope.
costume design is just like we have green t-shirts.
Yeah, it's green t-shirts and jeans.
I got
Yeah.
2 green t-shirts right behind me,
Oh,
like
shit.
in that closet.
Why the fuck would they name their gang the Orphans too? Like that's a
Oh,
sad
dude, we
gang.
need to think of something
Stipulation, dude.
intimidating.
You have to have no parents to be in
You
it.
gotta kill
man.
your parents to get in.
They're like, no man, Batman's an orphan. He's intimidating. This is
It's
back
like-
when Adam
it's-
West was Batman, though.
It's basically like the kids who grew up like really loving gangs and shit that just weren't tough enough to be in a gang.
Yeah.
Made a gang,
It's like Malibu's Most Wanted, Jamie Kennedy.
yeah, essentially. Yeah.
White dudes in the suburbs.
The
Man, what is that lady's name?
yeah, what's her name? The prostitute. Let's dehumanize
Oh, her name's
her.
Mercy. That's
Okay,
a
Mercy.
that's a
Yeah,
slutty name.
she obviously works the neighborhoods in a certain way, and she says, "Fuck the orphans, they're lame anyway. I'm gonna go off with the warriors." And
Which was not
what's the new leader guy's name?
Swan.
Okay, yeah, she starts trying to hang out with him. Even
It's
tries
fucked
to
up
like,
because she joins the gang and immediately Ajax is like, "Yeah, we can run a train on her." Like, ready to fucking do some disgusting
Jesus
shit.
Christ.
Yeah,
Ajax is a piece of shit, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's named after a toilet scrubber.
yeah, fuck them.
But it's like Swan's not that much better because he still like physically grabs her real rough and talks about how she needs to watch her fucking mouth throughout the entire fucking movie.
He still protects her though.
Yeah,
So,
he protects her out of the spot that's his bottom bitch.
yeah, I do feel bad. You know, she obviously works the streets, but she genuinely like wants to hook up with him in like a non-prostituting way.
Well, also she wants like a better life. There's a
Yeah.
whole scene towards the end of the movie when they finally get on a train that fucking works, that they're actually able to sit down and do. They're sitting there and they've been fighting. A lot of them, they have like wounds and they're sweaty and dirty.
Covered in fucking filth. Yeah.
Yeah,
You get the
and then
class divide scene.
You see the fucking people from like prom walking.
Yeah, the rich teenagers who are like,
wearing,
oh
like, nice
my.
dresses, and they like make eye contact. Then they look away, and Swan keeps that eye contact. Swan and Mercy keep that eye contact the whole fucking time, just to make
It's
it
so much that they decide to get off at the next stop,
Yeah,
so they
they're
don't
like,
have
"Fuck
to keep
this."
being on the train with the warriors.
It's so fucking. That's such a good scene.
Yeah.
You know, I bet what's his name who wrote and directed Joker. I wonder if he referenced that or had that as an idea when the rich Donald Trump Jr. looking dude gets onto the train with
yeah.
Arthur the Joker and
Oh.
he
I
cops him.
think if we're talking about that one, I think he referenced more that dude who just in the '90s who shot the fuck out of those two people on the subway because he felt threatened. You know, was just like, fuck it one day.
Yeah, but you got, dude, that movie is an amalgamation of 70s urban New York.
It's derivative.
Movies.
I'll be more pejorative.
That movie's good. You know, I don't like the fan base. I think everybody who's like fucking obsessed with it is.
I think it's okay. I think the last 20 minutes are really good though.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I love the show scene with Robert De Niro because that is straight from like comics. It's the way it goes.
Yeah, that's feel very comic booky. That's
so cool. But the rest of the movie is like, yeah, I don't want to talk about Joker anyway.
No.
But
there's a lot. You get to see a lot of New York too, like a lot of like dirty underside of New York in this movie, which I miss
70s. You know,
yeah.
If people ask you when you could time travel to, I would say 70s New York. I'm tired of this gentrified New York. You know,
if I could travel back in time, it'd be 1520s England.
Okay, Mom. Another grimy 70s urban New York movie we should talk about is Heavy Traffic. Man, I want to talk about that movie. We could just we could talk about Ralph Bakshi in general. We could talk about him and that movie and Fritz the Cat. Do like a double feature.
Fritz the Cat.
We gotta do a double feature on that sometime.
Yeah, Fritz the Cat. That movie so.
Anyway,
this will be Grease.
I was so young. Dude.
Grease month for the cat.
That's not good, Casher.
I didn't have very active parents.
The fact that the lesbian gang is like called the Lizzies is so funny to me.
Oh, it's fucking great, man. It's like quintessential.
It's like most of the other people they fought just have different assortments of knives and props and shit. These girls have fucking guns. They're fucking
they're the first gang that has like guns that actually does something.
Almost kills them all. Yeah, fucking crazy.
There's probably some sort of phallic reading in that. like men are threatened by lesbians because they feel they might be able to use some of their
Well,
masculine
they're not all
power. I'm
explicitly
pulling this out of my.
lesbian, but two of them do dance together
The
sensually.
best thing about it is like the two that they got to go over there were just like super fucking hyped to sit down and get some pussy and like
Yeah.
smoke a little weed, drink a little.
The
drink
one
a
guy
few
who
beers.
doesn't really care about it, I love him like turning and looking and starting to notice all the signs. I love scenes
Yeah.
like that in movies where like you follow him, you're part of the audience, you're piecing it together with him, and then you're like, oh shit, and then it's too late. I love scenes like that.
Dude, me fucking too, man. That seems incredible. One of the things that I liked is like the stark contrast from night to day when they finally make it
Yeah.
back to Coney Island. Like it gets to become daylight really quick, and then they're on the fucking beach. Like they make it and they go all the way to the beach, and that's where they have to fight the guy, like the gang that is, you know, the one that shot Cyrus in the beginning. And you get the iconic fucking warriors come out to play.
I forgot how many times he says it in that
Bro,
scene.
he gets so intense with it too. You can see like his face turning red and like the vein pop out in his fucking forehead
Yeah.
and like sweat and spit being thrown around.
Not a scripted line either.
And he's got the 3 bottles on his fucking hands.
It's improv.
Tink. That's so dope.
I also would like to say, when the last time I watched this movie was years ago, like I said, before I ever watched Twin Peaks, and now I'm watching Twin Peaks. He is in Twin Peaks. What's his
Who's he
first
playing?
name? Jerry Horn, I think.
Oh.
So the brother of, you know, what's his name?
That's
Audrey-
right.
Audrey Horn's uncle, the guy who is obsessed with those fucking sandwiches, and in the season 3 is lost in the woods high as fuck, and his foot's talking to him. Yeah. So it was great to have that connection now. Underrated actor. Guy's fucking cool as hell. And
yeah, I agree. I'm looking up to what else he's been in. His name is David Patrick Kelly.
what else has he been in other than the Warriors and Twin Peaks?
Pulling it up, it says he had a lot of collaborations with Spike Lee.
Oh, really?
Malcolm X, Crooklyn, Chirac, and then with David Lynch, he's in Wild at Heart, Twin Peaks, and its 2017 revival.
Yeah.
He's in The Crow, Last Man Standing. He's in The Longest Yard, bro.
The original or the new one?
The new one with Adam Sandler, dude.
Nice.
I've got the prize that'll cross your eyes. I fucking love that movie. I don't give a shit. And he plays Truman in Flags of Our Fathers, which is propaganda.
Good for him.
But yeah, he's been in a lot of shit. He's from Detroit, Michigan. But that whole scene at the end, we're on the beach where they finally get their confrontation with Luther. He pulls out the gun and he's ready to shoot Swan, and Swan pulls out his switchblade and throws it and hits it right in his hand, so he drops the gun.
It's so awesome.
Good. It's so good because then like immediately afterwards, Cyrus's gang shows up randomly. Like they finally made it all the way there to come stomp out the Warriors, and the Warriors like, nah, he did it. And they're like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "Yeah, he did it." And then they get stomped out by him. Like that's all it took was them being like, "No, he actually did it."
Well, it's like, no, because there's a scene where they
oh yeah, he does end up saying like, "I did it because I wanted to."
There's a guy who shows up to the Black Panthers, whatever they're called, and he's like, "Hey, this is what I actually saw, and here's what happened."
Forgot about
like,
that
oh
scene.
shit.
Okay, yeah, disregard what I said.
And he's
dude,
fucking sniveling little bitch boy when he's like, "No."
Yeah, he literally turns into like a little pussy right at the end. After being a dick the whole fucking movie.
You think they fucked up the whole gang or just him?
Probably just him. I think that they're pretty fair about that shit. They may have done the whole gang.
I don't know.
Like
at the beginning, they're passing down the gun to him. Like they know it's gonna happen. It's not like
yeah, I don't know if the Riffs would do that though. They have like an honor code thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
They may have said fuck the honor code on Star side. The scene though, I love how chaotically fucking bad this dude is. Like threatening people over candy bars at one point in the fucking movie, and then like at the end, literally being like, "We're like, why'd you do it?" And he's literally just like, "Because I fucking wanted to, because I felt like it." Like that's so
Yeah.
fun. And then
It's
they made
all
it.
part of the plan.
Oh,
Chaotic evil.
cool. Yeah,
The
quintessential
fucking
fucking 70s cinema for sure.
when he
It's
throws the switchblade into his arm, it reminds me of this fucking god tier scene in Walker, Texas Ranger, where this dude throws the fucking knife at Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris somehow catches it and throws it straight back and hits the guy in the forehead.
Chuck
He falls
Norris.
down.
Awesome though.
In the video game, it slows down time and you have to aim it up, and then you throw the knife. And
Oh yeah, it's like Modern Warfare 2's ending. You gotta throw the knife.
Oh yeah.
Pre-Modern Warfare 2, fucking got that. I stole it from the Warriors game.
Uh-oh. Wouldn't be the worst thing that Activision's done.
Yeah,
Not
right.
even close.
What else have they done?
I don't know.
Yeah, man. I think everything about it is like a time capsule of the 70s for cult films.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it had a very good reception at first. I think people were expecting more of like a Saturday Night fucking Fever type vibe to it.
What the fuck?
I don't
A lot
know.
of great
Shit,
movies
listen to
don't have
this.
the best
Okay, I'm on the
reception.
Wikipedia page right now, and the release section says there were violence at screenings. So listen to this shit. The following weekend, the film was linked to sporadic outbreaks of vandalism and 3 killings.
Wow.
2 in Southern California, 1 in Boston, involving moviegoers on their way to or from showings. What
Wow.
the fuck?
I feel like that just means this attracted rowdy crowds who
Okay,
already
this is
had
what
beefs.
Walter Hill, the director, said. I think the reason why there were some violent incidents is really very simple. The movie was very popular with street gangs, especially young men, a lot of whom had very strong feelings about each other. And suddenly, they all went to the movies together. They looked across the aisle, and there were guys they didn't like, so there were a lot of incidents. And also, the movie itself is rambunctious. I would certainly say that.
Rambunctious. Yeah.
Rambunctious.
3 people were killed.
Yeah, that's so fucked. It's apparently from contemporary critics back then and got pretty bad reviews. They didn't like the lack of realism and found its dialogue stilted.
Oh.
They don't get it.
Out of here.
No, and a lot of people don't get it until years later. Ebert gave it 2 out of 4 stars at that time and said despite Hill's cinematic skill, the film is implausible in a manner or style that deprives the characters of death.
That's not
But
the point.
he did say later in an interview before he died, he said that he felt he overlooked some positive qualities of the Warriors out of his dislike for Hill's general approach to broad characterizations. Siskel gave it 1 out of 4 star, and look at them now; they're dead.
Yeah, fuck 'em.
I can see
Who's the
Siskel
real
not liking the
winner?
Warriors.
I think he said you would think after watching the Warriors that gang membership was a victimless crime, save for the occasional sadist who pops up as comic relief. This entire film is a romantic lie. That's the fucking point. Like, of course, gangs are bad. I get it. Why do we want to watch a movie about fucking bad? Like, if we want to watch a bad movie about bad gang violence, we'll watch a like fucking I don't know.
Snow on the Bluff.
Snow on the Bluff.
Snow on the Bluff.
That's a fucking banger of a movie. God damn.
It's
Just funny how it was taken back then, and then it became a fucking big cult film at this point.
Yeah.
I think it
Just
took
like,
that long. I mean, it took it until the 80s, probably at the latest, to be cult. Because I know my dad talks about liking this movie in college because it came on TV a lot.
Yeah.
And he and his buddies, just whenever it came on, they would
That's
just
cool.
stop whatever they're doing and watch
Real
it.
shit. That was the first time I saw it was when I was like 10, 11 years old, pre-family splitting up. My dad and I would watch it on Spike TV in the garage.
Yeah.
Like I've seen this movie a lot of fucking times, man.
I forgot about Spike TV.
Yeah, man, the Man Channel.
That used to be the only channel that would show Star Wars.
I remember that too, man. It's because it's the Man Channel.
Star Wars and Three Stooges. It would show that.
But yeah, I just like I was telling Adrian at the beginning of this podcast, it's a weird comfort movie of mine. And so like I love this film so fucking
Yeah.
much.
That's a movie you can just put on unless you're me and forget that there's certain themes in it, and then I have to warn my girlfriend about.
Yeah, that's fair. It's not for everyone. It's definitely like machismo movie at its fucking peak. Like they regarding its cult status, initially it had bad reviews. Critics have re-examined it. Some of them have, and now it's got an 87% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't give a fuck about what Rotten Tomatoes thinks. Fucking 40
It's
years
a
later.
100% from the mooring
Well,
line.
it cracks me
harbor.
up.
40, yeah, like
It cracks me up that they go and re-examine movies after like 40 years of it being out.
And that's it's an interesting thing, I think, that of all movies, that's one that's re-examined.
There's a lot of movies that have been re-examined in the past like decade because of their cult status, because of how popular they've gotten with like just random people.
Forces you to.
Dude, give it another 10 years and fucking they're gonna re-examine what's it called?
Moon Man.
What's that fucking movie with it's like they're Irish and they fucking the Boondock Saints. They'll fucking re-examine that in 10 years and be like, it's a fucking masterpiece of a film.
Yeah, right.
Like I swear to God, they'll re-examine it in 10 fucking years.
Never seen Boondock Saints. That's why this podcast is not completely insufferable. Because that wasn't part of my consciousness at a young age.
I can't like this movie anymore. Apparently, President Ronald Reagan was a big fan of the film.
The Warriors?
Yeah, and he screamed.
Did he try to make the American economy like that? He liked it so much.
Dude. He apparently screened it at Camp David.
He was like, this gives me a good idea to sell crack to the inner cities.
Jesus fucking Christ, yeah.
The inspiration.
One of the funny things is Walter Hill's. I guess it's not funny. He was when they started to re-examine the movie and like named it as like one of the 50 greatest cult films of all time. Walter Hill, he's still alive. He was like, I love the fact that people still enjoy something I did 37 years ago. He says it makes an old man happy. I'm surprised by it, but I loved working with my cameraman and I loved working with my cast, who were incredibly trusting of this crazy old fucker that was trying to make a movie.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's fucking dope. I'm happy it's got its status.
Blade Runner wasn't liked when it came out,
which is fucking dumb. That's just to say it's fucking.
I think the thing wasn't either. Plenty of good movies.
I love cult status. Rocky Horror Picture Show was another big cult film that people fucking hated when it first came out. It's just like it's cool to see the evolution of moviegoers and movie watchers, like their taste change. Like I don't think it'll ever change, but I fucking love the Toxic Avenger. Those movies are like peak cult films.
Oh yeah, no, I think it's getting a remake, which is surprising.
I don't want the remake. I want the
no.
shitty.
It's not going to be good. Trauma is trauma because it's trauma. You know what I mean?
Sure. What else has this director done? Let's see.
They don't. There's no movies aren't allowed to get greasy like that anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not unless you're straight to DVD at a Dollar General.
Right. Class of Nukem High.
The Dollar General are fucking great.
I almost want to do a podcast on this. I only saw one of them, but the Universal Soldier sequels, Universal Soldier 3 and 4. Universal Soldier 3 and 4 has some of the best blocked action I've ever seen in a film. It's disturbing. It's a movie where Dolph Lundgren gives a good performance. It defies all logic.
Oh God. I'll have to check that out. I've never even fucking seen the first two.
Neither have I. I've only seen the third one.
You've only seen the third one? You popped in?
I've only seen the third Universal Soldier movie.
That's fucking hilarious, dude. What the fuck? Well, I love cheesy cult action movies. I like also just like action stars in movies that aren't necessarily action. Like what's it called? Over the Top is one of my fucking favorite cheesy 80 movies, which is about arm wrestling.
Yeah,
I only know the Dexter's Lab episode.
I love that Dexter's Lab episode.
Wow, I only know the regular show episode.
Oh yeah, I know that one too.
I highly suggest it if you're looking for some Sylvester Stallone camp. It's one of my fucking favorites. Just the concept of having a whole movie about arm wrestling fascinates me.
Well, we need a movie like that, but about the Russian slap fighting. That's what.
I was deep diving that a couple nights ago. That shit's intense. Watch one dude like talk a lot of shit and then get fucking knocked the fuck out right afterwards, and it's That's where I ended my night. I was like, I'm good. I can go to bed now. We need more movies like this. I'd love to see more like gangster films that romanticize gangsters.
I think that's what American society needs right now.
Or gang violence.
Yeah, we're getting
Yeah.
there's it's the 50th anniversary of The Godfather this year, and they're putting it on this awesome 4K set and like re-releasing it one night in theaters. And if I'm off that day, I'm definitely gonna see it in the theater.
Yeah,
That would be sick. That'd be amazing.
are they doing the
Yeah.
4K cut in theater?
Yeah,
That's cool.
it's gonna
I'd like
look
to see
fucking
that.
delicious.
Will it look delicious?
That movie's gonna look like a big pile of Cat's Deli pastrami.
Yeah.
Man, Cat's Deli is expensive. It's like $17 for a pastrami
I
sandwich.
bet it's overrated. I've never
I heard it
been.
is overrated. I heard there's better pastrami. Fuck you, Cat's Deli.
Fuck 'em.
Sponsor.
Oh, is our spot? Oh shit.
I'm trying to get a sponsor.
One of my favorite things about the Warriors though is how diverse the casting is, especially like in the late 70s. Like a lot of gangs there's some gangs that are split racially. Like the Furies are like an all-white gang, and like the Riffs are an all-black gang. But then you've got gangs like the Warriors that have like a mixture of like everybody in it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, especially at that time. Then you on the Orphans, they got that one Asian dude.
Wow, one Asian.
Oh my God.
But yeah, cult film, one of my favorites. I can't suggest it enough. It's not
Yeah.
complicated. It's not fucking, art house bullshit. It's pretty
It
simple.
is weirdly art house.
Why is what? So the Warriors was on the PS2.
Yeah.
Was it also
Yeah.
on Xbox?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
It definitely wasn't on GameCube,
No.
Absolutely not.
or I would pick it up. But it's just annoying that like, just let us play Xbox games on this new Xbox consoles. There's so many cool old Xbox games I see at Game Exchange that I can't. I'm like, oh, I want to pick this up and play it.
Well, I think there's like 2 games that are out for fucking the Warriors. They made the OG Rockstar Warriors game, and then Warner Brothers released a beat 'em up scroller video game based on it called the Warriors Street Brawl, which is also pretty fun if you like beat 'em ups, which I do. One of my favorite things in the Rockstar game though is like you get all the details like outside of the movie, but like some of the missions are like prequel based, so you got to go run and do crime and shit before you actually get to the meeting. Like there's a point where you have to go and break into like different cars and steal radios, and like break into jewelry shops and steal all the jewels and shit.
That's just like it's like the Godfather game and the fucking Sopranos game.
It's fun. I like
Where
it.
like you play as like Vito's like nephew or some shit, and you've never seen him before, and like you have to go do a bunch of shit that has nothing to do with the movie.
Dude, it's one of the best movie games, I think, in my opinion, of like all
That's
time.
cool. I'm sure it's better than the Sopranos video game. I'm not down that.
It's not as good as Playboy the video game. That I like.
I actually got sucked in and watched about 15 minutes, 20 minutes of a Let's Play of that. I was the guy who was Let's Playing it sounded exactly like you think he would sound.
I secretly got my mom to rent that for me from Blockbuster.
How? Your mom didn't care?
My mom didn't notice. No, my mom didn't give a shit.
How did she not notice? It says Playboy on the front.
Because not on Blockbuster ones, only has it on the side.
Oh.
So I just like threw it up there, and like they checked out. My mom didn't even notice. I played that and got a lot of sexual gratification from that game.
I remember being at Hastings and like looking at that cover like a bunch, being like, man, I wish I could rent this.
The only time my mom's ever been like, no, we're not getting a video game, is whenever this motherfucker at Toys R Us had a gift card. I was trying to buy Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, put it up there, and the guy looked at my mom and goes, do you know the content of this game? Do you understand that this is not a game for children? You commit crimes and kill cops. And my mom was like, oh, kill cops. And my mom's a bootlicker. She fucking was like, nope, I'm not doing it.
Here's the thing. One time outside of the game store that you guys used to work at, I was talking to some cops because somebody was panhandling, like soliciting or whatever. And they wanted to ask me about it. and they were excited for Grand Theft Auto 5 coming out actively. You know, I bet when they played it, they probably followed the speed limit and just like didn't do any of the missions.
Or
That
they
was
got
their
like
power
real
fantasy.
fucked up about it because it's a power fucking trip. Most
Yeah.
likely, these are the same motherfuckers with the Punisher stickers on the back of their fucking cars. Do you know
Okay,
the
Cat.
Punisher, the writer and the creator of Punisher created a new logo for the Punisher
Yeah.
because he didn't like what cops were doing
Fuck
with it. Like, what the fuck? ACAB.
Just like I feel bad for Pepe the Frog.
I feel bad for Pepe. There's a whole documentary about that.
Yeah.
It's weird. I was playing Counter-Strike and there's some guy with the Pepe thing. And I'm like, man, this guy, he's really good at Counter-Strike and he has a Pepe thing. He's
sounds like some Counter-Strike shit.
It is such a Counter-Strike thing.
That's like if the Clan Man was used at clan rallies. Oh, wait a minute.
It's spelled with a C. It's not spelled
with a C.
Why did the KKK put it as a K, man? Do you think they just didn't honestly?
I think they just can't read.
You think they honestly just didn't know that it's spelled with a C?
No, man, it's stylized. It's supposed to be kind of cool.
Fucking A, man. Fuck the Ku Klux Klan. Fuck racists. Fuck
cops. We're anti Ku Klux Klan on this cast, just so everyone knows.
Yeah, dude, we're woke. We don't like the Klan.
We're woke, dude. We don't like racists.
Well, I'm brave, but you don't have to applaud.
I know Scott may have said some problematic things last night on his stand-up set, but we're all cool around
I had
here.
COVID. I haven't been to stand-up.
Yeah, good call. Good cover, bro. Whatever.
Okay, we'll vouch for you.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about Palestine? No. Do we have anything else to add to this movie?
Man,
not really.
Me neither. What game is that in your Nintendo 64? Is that Smash or is that Donkey Kong?
Stadium too?
It's Pokemon Stadium. Smash isn't yellow.
It's got yellow and gold.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Warriors, good movie. Good movie, very nice, great.
So what's coming out next?
Jackass.
Not much other than Scream, which
Jackass.
I have no interest.
Jackass.
I haven't seen the original.
Yeah, but is Jackass gonna be a part? What are you gonna do? You can't talk about Jackass.
I would do a Jackass podcast, man.
Yeah, where we do our own stunts.
We have to reenact and do our own stunts.
I've got mouse traps. I've got a penis. I think it's cool that fucking Jasper Dolphin's on the fucking cast now.
Fucking crazy, dude.
It's so fucking wild.
Oh, who's Jasper Dolphin?
He's a member of
Odd Future.
Oh.
He's not
you
really.
You haven't seen Scream?
No.
Wow.
You should watch those.
That's my top 5 favorite horror movies.
The first one?
Yeah, the first one.
The first one fucking
Scott,
awesome.
The first one is meta before anything else was meta.
Yeah, I know.
Like that brought everything into the next generation, that movie.
It was Facebook before Facebook.
It's one of those things. I accidentally caught some of it on TV, so I know who the killers and stuff are.
Ah, man.
So
it's still fun though. It's a good movie. Fun. Fucking love that movie. The only reason I'm interested in this new one is because the writer of the original movie said that they approached him to make it, and he's like, "No, I'll give you my blessing though to make this movie." But they're like, "No, just hear us out. Hear out our idea for this 5th one." And he heard it. He's like, "God damn it, this is fucking awesome. Now I'm gonna have to write this movie." So he wrote it, and that made me interested in it. And now everyone's saying it's the best since the original. I was like, "Oh shit," because Scream 3 fucking is not very good.
I haven't seen it. I've only seen the first 2.
If the best part of your movie is a cameo, that's not good.
It's a Marvel movie.
Yeah, Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Yeah, fucking, for those of you at home that don't know, Jay and Silent Bob show up in Scream 3. And it's like,
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Why the fuck would they show?
It's just a cameo, but it's like, what the fuck? Why?
I love that. Holy shit, it's probably my favorite now.
Well, also, Carrie Fisher's in that movie. That's the actual redeeming, the best part of Scream 3 is
Rest in
Yeah.
peace, Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
Kevin
tried to
Smith wrote that movie.
Yeah. But yeah. Scream 4 is better than Scream. I'll save this for when I talk about Scream. Might just be with Sam. I don't know. But
Yeah, it just depends on if I can make it out to the theater to go see the new one. Be
yeah.
down for a Scream
Anyway.
cast.
Thanks for listening, guys. This has been The Warriors. I don't know what next week is. We'll see. Who
Roger
knows?
Rabbit.
Might not be about anything. Maybe it'll be about the Muppets. I'm watching through the
Hey.
Muppet movies.
I'm down for a Muppet cast. I'm
Watching
always
all the
down for a
ones.
Muppet cast.
Watching all the ones I never watched as a kid.
Fuck,
Man,
I love all those
yeah.
fucking movies, man. I don't think there's a Muppet movie I don't like. Although they did Steve Whitmer fucking dirty.
Anyway, thanks for watching.